that over the coming hours, but we do move to a topic that is set to be pivotal in these discussions between some of the world's most powerful leaders, and that is in the Middle East as tensions continue to escalate as Israel and Iran enter the fourth day of deadly airstrikes. Iran's state TV reports it is under attack by Israel. The Revolutionary Guards urge Tel Aviv residents to evacuate immediately. Israel confirms ongoing strikes on military targets across central Iran, destroying over 120 missile launches, including the Quds Force headquarters in Tehran. The death toll has risen sharply. 224 have confirmed to have died in Iran and 24 in Israel, with over 97 injured in that country. Israel's air defense system was activated for the first time after a residential tower in Haifa was hit and a northern power plant caught fire. Iran accuses Israel of hitting a hospital in the country and to shut Tehran's Grand Bazaar. Iran retaliated with a massive missile barrage targeting Tel Aviv, Haifa and Jerusalem, killing 11 more Israelis. The US Embassy in Tel Aviv sustained minor damage, and President Trump warned Iran against attacking US interests. Trump also revealed he blocked an Israeli plan to assassinate Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. The region remains on high alert amid fears of a wider conflict. Meanwhile, Iran has asked Qatar, Saudi Arabia and Oman to urge former US President Donald Trump to press Israel for an immediate ceasefire. Tensions remain high as both sides exchange heavy strikes, raising fears of a wider conflict. Well, the tensions continue to escalate. Another day of military action threatening the regional stability, but also with global ramifications. Joining us to discuss that is Adrian Calamel, a terror scholar who's joining us from Rochester in New York. Adrian, as always, it is a pleasure to have you on the programme. A lot of updates, too much for us to go through right now, but given the G7 summit is already underway in some cases with bilateral talks, but the main summit coming up shortly, how significant is Donald Trump and this G7 release that we expect to come shortly, given the global ramifications of a conflict that has impacts on the economy, but also security impacts as well?
Yeah, it's great to be back, Joshua, and it's interesting that he's decided not to sign that letter, or I don't expect him to, because and then the other members asked for de-escalation in this conflict. And I think one of the reasons why you're seeing this come out from the other leaders now is because Israel has achieved many of its objectives, but it hasn't achieved its real objective. And at the end of the day, that was the complete dismantling of their nuclear program. And there are still two sites, Fordo and there's a site in Isfahan, that still are, especially Fordo, is really hardened, and it may take commando raids, and there have been Mossad operations on the ground doing targeting, taking out, we'll know after the fact what they actually did with the Mossad, but getting in the Fordo is going to be difficult, and that may require a U.S. kinetic strike. But I will say at this point, right now, it seems like Khamenei is very desperate. He's in a corner, and he wants to end this. He sees his regime slipping, and it's slipping away quickly from him. And he's still got Fordo. And my guess is that he wants to try and end the hostilities as soon as possible, restore order to the best of his ability, which will be a brutal crackdown on the Iranian population, and still hold on to Fordo. That's still not going to work for the Israelis, and it's still not going to work for the Americans, because that is one of the real dangers. Natanz and Fordo were the two most critical sites that need to be taken out.
Yes, absolutely, Adrian. I'm glad you brought up potential peace. Of course, global leaders calling for de-escalation. Trump himself in recent days says that a deal needs to get done, comparing the situation to the India-Pakistan conflict, which of course he claims he played a key part in ending. But is it in Israel's interest to heed that advice and de-escalate, given the success that they've had? And as you mentioned, the fact that one base, a critical base, is almost unreachable without support from the United States.
Yeah, that's a great question. And it would be foolish for the Israelis to stop at this point. They know that Khamenei's great at making these tactical retreats, but right now, if you look at the Israeli Air Force, they have complete air dominance over Iran. So they can take out what they want, where they want, without any repercussions, and do it with precision. So, but there is the hardened place that I talked about, Fordo, which they're saying probably it would need a bunker buster to do any type of significant damage there. But the Israelis, they have an objective here, and they're going to see it to the end. I think Donald Trump said, publicly he may be saying, let's make a deal, and that's a messaging to Khamenei, say, this is your last chance, buddy. Sit down, make a deal here, stop this, no nuclear processing, no enrichment. This is your chance. But behind doors, he's probably telling Netanyahu, finish the job.
Yes, and Adrian, we've heard from Donald Trump, and we've heard reports that he has allegedly vetoed the assassination of Khamenei. That, of course, would have led to further escalation. There have been comments about a potential overthrow, and that's something that Israel might be looking at. But given your expertise as well, would a government overthrow and a Khamenei overthrow potentially lead to further risks, with a possibility of terrorism uprising in Iran after this attack and war has come to an end?
Well, after any type of overthrow, there's going to be instability. That's just the natural state of things in most cases. Now, I think what you have right now is about 90 million Iranians that are completely united against this regime. What they haven't had is any type of military power, any type of backing. They've just been slaughtered in the streets, taken to prisons, tortured, executed, etc. They do, if you look at lower levels of the IRGC, some of the middle-ranking individuals, I expect we'll start to see defections from these groups because they're tired of doing this to their own population and brutalizing them. So if you can pull and peel away some of these individuals in the IRGC, understanding that they're just there to get a paycheck, they've never wanted to do this, and they're not the theocrats, and to use them and also people that are in the government that are just not the bad individuals. There are people there that are working really bad jobs, but understand the entire system, understand the economy there, understand how to make a better economy, that aren't, they just want to have a better life. And I think they can rebuild a better society, a better Iran. And I also think you'll have a lot of people from the diaspora coming back and wanting to rebuild a better Iran.
Adrian, sorry to